Hey, you guys, and thanks for tuning in to our last episode of the Rosewood Rundown on ET.
Thanks to you guys. Thank you.
Last night.
It's so good we have a live audience.
Yeah, we do.
Yes,
have a live audience.
definitely.
I'm Katie Krause.
I'm Leanne Aguilera, and joining us today, the one, the only Marlene King. Thank
Hi,
you
guys.
so much for coming in.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. So first of all, Katie and I, of course, had to pay
I know. I
homage
love it. Thank you.
to the reveal, but of course, we are not actually AD. Spencer had a twin!
Alex Drake.
Oh my
kept that.
gosh.
I mean, the name, the story, it's kind of incredible how you guys kept that secret, truly. And
Thank
I think
you.
the
Well,
fans are all very
Troyan
shocked.
and I had it the longest.
Yes.
And Troyan literally was, it was crazy. The whole thing was crazy. I'm happy it's over. Yesterday was like a happy, sad day. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Only happy it's over in the sense that we don't have to keep that secret anymore.
Definitely.
Well, for all the fans out there, make sure you guys are leaving your questions, your comments below. We will get to them. We are going to ask Marlene everything on our brains, on your brains. And I'm really excited to do this with you.
Thanks. Me too.
Yeah.
I hope I have the answers. I hope, sometimes we say we have PLL brain and we forget things because it all turns to mush.
Yeah, well, there's a lot. It's a lot to remember.
From after today, this half of my brain gets to go back to normal and I can think of other things.
Until your next show, and we will be getting to that as well.
Yes.
So you said that you and Troyan have known this the longest. So talk to us, Marlene. At what point did you decide that Troyan was going to have an identical twin?
I think I started thinking about it on the hiatus between seasons 5 and 6 because we knew we had 2 more seasons to go and we needed a new A, and that A had to be the uberest A of all, which immediately makes me think of Spencer Hastings because she's so brilliant, and it was a big fan. A lot of fans, I think it was a popular theory that fans wanted one of the PLLs to be AD. And because the show is about unconditional friendship, in my opinion, at the heart of the show, it really is about friendship and their unconditional friendship. I didn't want to twist that in the end, but I thought, okay, giving Spencer a twin, you sort of get to have your cake and eat it too. It's almost like having a Pretty Little Liar there, but not quite.
Did you ever toy with the idea of making it one of the girls? Or having one of them have a twin?
Well, yes. I mean, I think for me, logically, it was Spencer because from the pilot, the Hastings lived right next door to the De Laurentises. We found out over time that there was some cross-pollination.
That family, man, that family tree.
So it's just that they were so intermingled and intertwined that it just felt so right to bring Spencer into or her twin.
Yeah.
Give her the twin, that she should be a part of that family.
Talk to me about that conversation that you had with Troyan. How did you break this huge news to her?
She might correct me, but I think we were at the Tower Hotel having dinner, sort of celebrating the fact that we were going to have 2 more seasons.
Just the 2 of you?
Well, Ashley and Shay were there, but they went outside for a little bit, and I think that's when I told her, sort of the gist of the story, and then we decided, she said, please don't tell the others because I don't want them to know when it's that it's not me in a scene, which I thought was brilliant because it would have affected their performances. So I think that's when I first told her. And then over the course of a year, we really worked together on finding sort of that character because we knew we had a little time before we would see AD on screen. Yeah. But and I knew AD would be British, but Troyan, I'm going to call her Spencer a lot, Troyan.
We do that too.
I know. Troyan. She started working on the dialect, I think, a year in advance, and she didn't Wren is a very polished Brit, and Troyan wanted to be more of a street sounding, she knew this character probably grew up on the streets. So, I mean, it was a lot of detail went into it.
Can I ask you about the scene that we flashed back to with Troyan and Ashley Benson? At that point, did Ashley know?
No.
Or she had no idea?
She had no idea.
So crazy.
She had no idea. And I think little by little, as those, we intentionally made the scenes that she has electric, a little something was always a tiny bit off, hoping the audience would start to put the clues together. You did. Maybe you did. I'm not sure. And I'd say by episode 18, where it's Alex Drake having sex with Toby, at the table reads the cast started figuring it out, or at least had a theory.
Are you, okay. So there's so many different times that we've been seeing now Alex as Spencer. Was there a specific time besides the one with her and Toby where you intentionally left a little crumb for fans to find? Because for me, it was the Alex and Wren scene that we thought that was Spencer that was a little out of place for me.
You know what's really interesting too is that there was Troyan directed that episode,
Yeah.
and Joe Doherty wrote it, and they really wanted Alex Drake to wear a hat, right? But like Spencer's never worn a hat like this, and so there was this big debate, like, is that pushing it too far? So we went no hat, and I'm so glad because people still picked up on the fact that something wasn't right there.
Yeah.
But so yes, originally the first 2 times we saw her, she's wearing a pink Argyle sweater because she's really doing Spencer, right? And so, but the second time she has a trench coat on, but she still has the pink Argyle sweater on. So there was like one little clue. And I'm trying to think of the other times we saw her. Like we saw her without the bangs.
Okay, yeah.
And so that was the one little thing that was off in the Hannah dream. So there's always something a little. You know, or she was amazing, Troyan. Like you'll notice if you go back, like she fidgets with her hands when she's AD, but not as Spencer.
See, and that's something that I did not pick up on, which I think is so fun now to hear. I have to ask you about, okay, so we got the whole backstory of Alex/AD, however we referred to her.
Yes.
Why was she not as angry with Mona, who actually killed Charlotte? Like, why did she not decide to kidnap her?
Well, I think she didn't know that it was Mona until, you know, episode 19.
Right.
So she thought it was probably one of the Pretty Little Liars.
Okay.
So that's why Mona, I mean, I don't think she thought Mona was the killer. I think she thought it was one of the girls because they had reason to pay back Charlotte. I guess so did Mona as well.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then just to reiterate for the fans out there who still might be confused, please tell us if we have this right. So
Let's see. I've got my support system over here to let me
basically,
know.
AD's version of this game was Liar's Lament.
Yes.
That was when she took it over from
Well, she took
Charlotte.
it over before. Is upon Charlotte's death. Okay. You saw for season 6.
Okay.
6. Okay. Charlotte died in 6A.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, upon Charlotte's death, at the end of 6A or the end of 6A.
Okay.
Thank you. You started seeing a black hoodie. And if you go back and you watch those closers, you see AD be born. Like you hear the Patsy Cline music, you see AD opening like the box.
That's the Patsy Cline connection that we were seeing.
Yeah,
so
and you saw it in the
many-
finale. Like the last time Charlotte sees Alex, she gives Alex this Patsy Cline album, which is just heartful, soulful music. It happened to be my father's favorite artist, and so that's how it kind of came into the show. But then we all just fell in love with it, and I couldn't believe we could afford Patsy Cline music because she's so amazing. But if you go back and you look at the closers in those first couple episodes after Charlotte died, you literally see the birth of AD.
Like a mini movie.
AD being born.
So then, did AD have any part in the Dollhouse?
No.
No, nothing to do
I think,
with that.
and if you go back and you just watch the flashbacks of AD in the finale, you get a sense of the timeline. Like she didn't want Charlotte to come back here and play the game. They found each other, like they were happy, but Charlotte couldn't not play the game, right? And then so when Charlotte gets killed, then AD comes to town to avenge her death. First of all, find out who killed her, and then avenge her death.
Yeah.
So we have made a list, Marlene.
Okay.
This is the fun part. We've made a list of questions, and we're just going to shoot them off.
We
Kind of rapid
apologize
fire.
in advance because Marlene's about to be put under fire. And again,
We'll
guys,
see
if
if I
you
can
have
answer the
questions
question.
too, send them in.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Okay,
Here we go.
why did Alex capture Ezra and feel like she and Arya were going to be the closest?
She captured Ezra because if you put the pieces together, you realize that Ezra came to the hotel that morning because he was making arrangements to take Arya on a hot air balloon ride the next day.
Yeah.
And he, in that moment, figured out that Spencer was not Spencer. So that's why she takes him back to her prison.
What about her whispering to Arya? She kind of like gets into bed with Arya and Hannah, and she's like, I feel like we're going to be the closest.
I think probably because she was like, she knew already that she had, you know, she was going to kill Ezra, right? And I feel like that's her in with Arya. It's like, we're going to be the closest of all because I'm about to kill your fiance.
So creepy.
Okay, well, speaking of killing, how did Alex kill Wren, and was he cool with it?
No, he wasn't cool with it. He wasn't cool with it. And actually, this is a fun little sort of behind the scenes tidbit. Originally, Julian was supposed to be with us for 2 days of shooting. And Alex was going to kill Wren in the finale because he didn't want her to just become Spencer, right? He said, like, this is too much, this is too much. But then when we lost him and only had him for 1 day of shooting, we had to kill him, shooting the film.
Yeah.
We had to kill him off camera and turn him into the diamond.
The diamond.
It was a last minute, like, switcheroo.
Who came up with the diamond idea? Because that was so creepy.
I think it was mine because I had just seen an ad where you could turn your pets into gemstones.
It's so good.
Or your
though.
loved ones,
Yeah.
for that matter.
But like, oh my god.
But so I don't think he was okay with it. I think that, like, and also in this scene that was written that we never got to shoot, she literally says to him, you know, I love you so much, but you're never going to see me as Spencer. You're always going to see me as Alex, and that's why she had to kill him.
This might be morbid, but it's a morbid show. How did she kill him?
I think she hits him with a pipe, right? And then he fell under, like, it was going to be the alley outside of the church on the morning of the wedding. And he goes under the fire escape, and she tugs the thing, and it comes down and cuts his windpipe off the ladder. Yeah.
How painful.
Yeah.
Talk to us
But
about
then she said in that scene, she goes, "You really do have these babies. Really do have your eyes."
Well, okay, that's my
yeah.
other question is how come Emison never found out who the
You know,
father?
it didn't occur to me until people started asking me this today, and I in my mind, she told Spencer that Alex told Spencer that Wren was the father, or Spencer figured it out because she knows the connection between those two.
Okay.
So I think off screen, Spencer probably told Emison that Wren is the father of your babies.
So they do eventually know.
Yes,
In your
in my mind, yes,
Okay,
they do.
fantastic.
So, and just kind of adding to that then, what did AD gain then by making Wren the father?
Beautiful babies, for one, right? And I mean, I think it was just in that scene, the fictional scene that was written that we never got to shoot, like he's saying, you know, I've done this for you, I shot you, I even gave life for you.
Yeah.
Right? So he knew it. He was a part of it. He was a part of that scheme. And I think it was, I think she's just warped enough to say, like, here's an opportunity, here's these eggs, look what we can do to these girls, will you help me?
Yeah. So twisted.
Yeah.
Twisted sister.
So
Yes.
speaking of sisters, let's talk about Melissa Hastings.
Okay.
Was she just the biggest red herring of the series?
Yes, I mean, she did by accident kill Bethany Young.
Yes.
She thought Bethany was dead, and she buried her alive to protect her sister because she thought Spencer had killed Allison, but it wasn't Allison, it was Bethany Young. But that's really the only thing she was guilty of, other than being a greedy older sister bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was a part of the NAT club. Like, she was on the
Yes.
train the night Garrett died, and
Is
so
she the one who pushed Arya?
no, I think that was Wilden.
Okay.
Okay, that was
Okay.
our other
That takes
question.
up another one of our
And
questions. Okay.
What was behind the decision then to bring her back, but only in mask form? Was that just
Well,
kind of
that was
fun,
really
but-
her doing the horse. That
Okay.
really is Melissa doing the horse. But she's another one. We only had her for 1 day, so it was like, okay, we really want to build her into the story.
Yeah.
We want to keep her as a red herring, of course, because she's so great at it. And then, she's such a great actress, Tori. Like, she'll come back. She's been gone for 2 seasons. She's like, tell me what's happening. I'm like, how much time do you have? It's like,
Well, speaking of the masks, that leads us to the one and only Mona.
She was great last
She was
night, by the
fantastic.
way.
Janelle,
Kirsch is
Janelle
amazing.
for all the Emmys out there. Okay, so tell us if this theory is right.
okay.
When someone hauled Alex away at the end, was that not a real police officer? That was someone doing Mona's bidding to put her in the
That's
dollhouse.
the exact person you see
Yes.
later
In
in
Paris.
the doll
Paris.
shop. Yeah, he's her
Okay.
boyfriend. And if you go back and watch it, he even has a twinge of a French, like when he's arresting Alex, he's got a twinge of a French accent.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I
Just a
feel like we
hint
had
of
to kind
one.
of put that together and be like, wait, that's the police officer, so they didn't really go to jail, so that's how she got them.
Because
to
once
Paris.
again, Rosewood Police did not help at all.
Well, nobody called them because Mona called him.
Right.
She's like, I'm calling 911. But really, she just called her boyfriend. Her
So
hot
does
French
it-
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Does this mean even though Mona went back to Radley, she was being rehabilitated with Haleb, does that mean because she has the dollhouse at the end that she's still a little bit mental?
Yes.
Well, because what Victoria wants to know is Mona the real mastermind behind all the torture of the girls?
No, Mona was the original AD. She got lost in the game. Charlotte stole the game from Mona, and then AD took over the game for Charlotte.
Yeah.
And then Mona basically just won the game from Alex Drake.
Okay. Who shot Spencer in 710?
Alex Drake.
Okay, so she's
She
the
was,
one.
she was hoping Spencer would die then. But
And that's how she knew about Spencer's scar then.
right, and that's when she says, Mary saved you, right? There's a line where she says, Mary Drake saved you to Spencer in the finale, and that's what she meant. Like, Mary saved her on the night she got shot.
So when Jenna in 710 says, you're AD, did she then have
That
some...
was Alex
is
Drake,
that how
but
she
she
kind
didn't
of
know who
smelled
it
her
was.
last
She just
night?
knew, like, because she can't see, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, she smelled her last night. Like, she knew that wasn't Spencer.
So she knew that that was the same person when she was like, you're AD.
So she
Yes.
smelled her. Is
So
my
she's like,
favorite.
oh
What
my
a
God,
full
you're
circle
AD.
moment, Jenna. Jenna was another big red herring, I feel like, for the entire
Just the fun, like the
series.
opening scene was so fun, I thought, and so surreal with like Lucas tap dancing
Lucas.
by. I had to get like, yeah, I've known he can tap dance for so long. I was like, before this show ends, I'm gonna have you tap dancing in this show, Brendan.
Well, and it was just all a figment of Mona's imagination. But so when AD appeared to Mona and she's like, I never would have guessed it was you, who was showing
that was
themselves
Wren.
to her?
That was
That was
Wren
Wren.
That was
working on the
Wren.
A team before he was turned into a gemstone.
Okay, because we were saying
Yeah.
like the
So
whole
a little bit
time
of a
she
time
was,
jump, yes.
Okay, because she was spending the entire episode trying to get in AD's good graces to learn who that person was. But then I was like, oh, did she not know? Okay,
That
awesome.
makes sense. So how come Wren never thought to tell Spencer or Melissa about Alex? He's like
He
a
was,
psychiatrist.
I think he was in love with Alex, though. He was,
So he-
enamored by
yeah.
her. He was in love with her, and that's, I think that that shot to the top of the list.
Yeah, that makes sense.
With Allie also being Alex's cousin, we were concerned that she wasn't in the reveal enough and in on the know. What was the decision to kind of have her have like a little step behind?
I don't know that it was something that we consciously consciously talked about so much. That it was just sort of, it felt like those things play so well when they're just very intimate, I think. And so it was the fewer people down there, the better.
Yeah.
And there was no reason for AD to kidnap Allison. Like she wanted to, she needed to kidnap Spencer so she could go be Spencer.
That makes sense. It feels like this whole game started because of Allison, and it started with this whole family, and it kind of switched from the De Laurentises to the Hastings.
To the Drakes.
To the Drakes.
Which
in a
all
sense.
is one
Yeah.
big happy family, kind of. You
Yeah.
know? It's hard. They all still are very connected.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of big happy families, Emison twins. When
Yeah.
did that
We did
decision
call
come
it then
about?
a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
That is one thing.
Yes, you did. You did. That was that was literally where like it's the final season.
Yeah.
Go big or go home. If she's having a baby, she might as well have twins because
Yeah.
twins runs in the family.
So many babies
I
in last
know.
night. So many baby talk.
Can we talk about that engagement just a little bit and the dialogue between them? Because I feel like Allison has been so open in recent episodes with her feelings for Emily. Talk about that decision.
Well, she didn't. She was planning this big, like, let me propose to you in a very romantic way. But Emily was pushing,
Yeah.
and she had no choice but to just be spontaneous in the moment and ask for her to marry her.
Why the pug sweatshirt?
I don't know. Ask Cameron Dale by the pug sweatshirt. No symbolism. Just like, because it was just supposed to be not expected. This is
Yeah.
not how she wanted to look. And although Emily was like Shay in the whole finale wore whatever she wanted. Like she
Yeah.
was not Emily
Yeah.
Fields. She was a little bit Shay Mitchell.
She
It's just
was.
like,
That
that's
leather
my gift
skirt
to
at
you,
the
Shay.
end.
It's like you get to pick your
A
own
little
wardrobe.
more of a fashionista. Is that the same answer then for Arya's wedding dress being short?
Arya, well, her first wedding dress, right, was
Arya.
right. And
Yeah.
she and Cameron worked together and picked both of those dresses.
It was very Arya.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
very
the second
Arya.
one was just really about, in my mind, it was the dress she probably was going to wear when they were eloping.
Oh, I love that. When we discovered that Arya couldn't have kids was such a heartbreaking moment. Can you talk a little bit about the decision to add that extra twist to that relationship?
Well, we really needed a reason for Arya to think that possibly Ezra was going to stand her up at the altar the next day. Like, you had to buy yourself a little bit of time there where she wouldn't immediately jump to, like, oh my gosh, something must be wrong, something must be wrong.
Yeah.
And we thought it was just enough, of a story where he wasn't mad at her because, she couldn't have a baby, but he was upset that she kept it from him for so long. So,
can we talk about the barn scene at the very end? Because you're right, it was a very full circle
moment. Yeah.
And it takes us all the way back to the pilot episode. Is that going to turn into something else, or was that just kind of a fun?
For right now, it literally was just like a fun way to say one chapter is over, but this town remains this spooky, creepy Rosewood that it's going to live on in its own.
What happened to Eddie Lamb?
Wait, real quick, before we move to Eddie Lamb, real quick,
yeah.
Can we talk about Maya's niece? What an amazing twist.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
That was it. But actually, there's a big fan of the show. Her name is Crystal Salem, and she's friends with that actress.
Yeah.
She really is an actress, and she's like, you got to meet my friend. She looks just like Maya St. Germain. And this was years ago. So for years, I've been thinking, like, how do I get her on the show? How do I get her on the show? And so that kind of was the starting point of why we started talking about the new little mini PLLs in that full circle moment.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, Katie.
Okay, I've been waiting to ask you this. What happened to Eddie Lamb?
Eddie Lamb left town. He's
He
like,
left
I gotta
it?
get
Okay.
out of here. Like,
But he's alive.
He's alive. He was a nice person, but I feel like he did favors for people at Radley, and he didn't want to get into trouble, so he just left town.
That makes my heart
I
feels
think he
lighter.
lives in like Florida now.
He's retired.
We're running out of time, so we're going to try and
Crazy.
get
How'd
as
that
many
happen?
more. I
Fan
know.
questions.
What has been your favorite Easter egg that you put into the entire series, or maybe just the finale?
Well, for the finale, I mean, I love that dream sequence, because we've done these dream sequences before where the girls thought they saw Allison, and we realized in hindsight, most of them, it really was Allison. So that felt like a real full circle moment, having Alex visit Hannah in that shed in a dream.
Yeah, it did. Landon wants to know, why was Noel in the dollhouse? What was Sara Harvey's A motive?
Sara Harvey's A motive. All those people were looking for the same thing. They were looking for Alex Drake. Like, Sara Harvey thought Alex Drake was going to be like Sara Harvey. AD says to Sara Harvey, like, she's looking for her pot of gold. She thought under the Radley somewhere there was money, but really it was that file. If you go back and look, like right before the time jump, or I forget what it was, where Spencer and Toby and Mona all find that file, which like starts the whole Mary Drake thing.
Exactly.
Like Sara was looking for money, but she didn't realize the pot of gold was Alex Drake.
Speaking of Toby, who killed his mom?
That was Bethany Young. I mean, there was like, to this day, there's that controversy over that flashback, because we made the kids look so much younger.
Yeah.
Because we used to play flashbacks, like when Keegan was 19, he could play, a 13-year-old, but not now that he's a man. So we switched gears on that one, which confused a lot of people. But so yeah, that's the truth.
Okay.
What about maybe they're Easter eggs, I don't know, but all the twins throughout the series, the blonde twins, and then Ashley Marin seeing the blonde girl in the Marin house at one point. What was that about?
That was just a ghost. I mean, we did cast the same girl from the twins story that Allison told in the first Halloween episode.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a legitimate Halloween night ghost showed up at her house.
I just thought it was like a hint that twins were eventually coming.
It's all a hint, in the sense that Sara played with twins a lot in the book. So whenever we could play along with that twin idea, we just had fun with it.
Yeah.
In the same way we had fun with dolls.
Yeah.
I loved that all of our girls got a great happy ending. Some fans were saying that they wish that Spencer and Toby's relationship had been a little bit more established at that very end. How do you imagine their future is? Do you think they eventually get married?
We did talk about having a double wedding with Ezria and Toby, but it felt so false. Like, that has to be earned. I understand that fans want to see everything, but it has to be earned. And I feel like they're coming back to each other. And if you were to jump forward a year from the finale, they're together. They're probably engaged. They're in game.
Well, because he was having to deal with the fact that he thought he was sleeping with Spencer, but it was some other girl. So
Yeah, there was that. Yeah, there was that.
That kind of emotionally put an
Right.
impact on the relationship.
Yeah.
But I think there was a pretty bow at the end of that story in the fact that he was staying in Rosewood for
Well, but also I feel
Spencer.
like, to me, one of the most romantic things about the whole episode was him knowing that was Spencer as opposed to Alex Drake.
He
Like,
went straight,
knew.
yes.
He knew.
A
love
couple more fan questions.
Yes, and then we'll let you go.
Yes.
We want to.
Okay, Andrea says, can you please explain the story behind Bethany Young? Well, you kind of already did that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Sydney says, when Mona said I never would have guessed it was you.
We got that one.
Oh, we got that
Talking to
one.
Wren.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
was Wren.
Do you envision that we could have a reunion of some kind, like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, some
I
kind
hope
of
so.
special?
I think the stars will have to align so everybody's available at the same time to sort of tell and find a great new story to tell within this world. But it won't be for a while. I'm excited to do new things. The girls are all excited. Young ladies are all excited to go off and do new things. And I'm excited just to see what everybody does.
Yeah.
And you'll keep us posted on spin-off news, right?
Of course.
Awesome.
People were very
course.
excited when you mentioned that there could be the Perfectionist spinoff.
That it would be in
Well,
the same
I haven't
that it would be in
mentioned
the
it. Other
universe.
people have mentioned it, and I just sort of keep saying, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe works for us right now.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Marlene.
Oh, thank you guys
for coming
for
in.
everything.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
7
guys.
years of just phenomenal
Entertainment.
Yes, exactly.
Truly.
That's what we set out to do. So
Twists,
thank
It's
you.
been so fun, and I feel like Pretty Little Liars really set the precedent for social media and tweeting and kind of bringing a fandom together in the digital era.
We had fun.
1.7
think
million
that's,
tweets last night is amazing.
That's the thing I'm by far the most proud of, is the fact that worldwide we brought all these people together, you guys, and that's it. That's our legacy. All of us are still going to be a family, even though the show ends.
Before we let
Amazing.
you go, we have a special surprise for you.
Okay.
It is the entire cast. They have a message
Oh, no.
for you,
Okay.
actually.
Yes, so,
So
we
if
have
we
this
can
exclusive
cue that
featurette. So
up.
let's go ahead and take a look.
Okay.
Oh, Marlene.
I say to the girls, you'll dance at my son's bar mitzvah, and I will dance at your weddings.
Mar has been literally like my second mom.
She has so many layers. She's so dynamic.
Marlene is a genius. Honestly, she is a force.
Marlene is such a cool chick. She just really is.
She's just the Wonder Woman.
She's one of my closest friends.
She's honestly is the mother of my career.
And I'll never forget that first coffee with her. And then since then, she's just continued to blow me away.
Her mind is incredible. Just everything that she creates just goes incredible places. Right away from the first moment that I met her, she just had such a warm, comforting sort of energy to her.
I would say that I'm extremely grateful for her believing in me and for her keeping this character alive as long as she had.
Aside from thank you for these past 7 years of my life and love that you've given me,
Thanks for the job. Thanks for the life.
thank you for seeing whatever you saw in me, because I can't believe that 7 years later this is where we are and I'm a part of this family.
She's constructed this amazing show, and we have become a family. She's like Mama Bear.
I mean, I love her so much.
I'm so grateful to her. I mean, this opportunity has changed my life so much.
I feel so insanely lucky.
And it's been so wonderful to work with her.
I look up to her a lot.
I think she's the best. She's a badass. I love her.
Yeah, she's incredible, and I'm so excited to see what she does in the future.
Wow, that's amazing, you guys. I got some waterproof mascara on. That's so sweet. Can I get a copy of that?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, girl, I'll email it to you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was so fun to watch your reaction.
yeah.
You watching that. It was
That's amazing. We're gonna go out on the tears.
Yes, we're going to go
It's
on
like
that
you guys
note.
are Barbara
Thank you so
Walters.
much. Thank you, fans, so much for
Thank
watching.
you.
Thank you for tuning in all season to the Rosewood Rundown. We really appreciate it. I'm Leanne Aguilera.
Katie Krause and, of course, the
Marlene
brilliant
King.
Marlene
I love
King.
you guys. I
Thank
love you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.